Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. It's Lane here with MetaShackle. Today we're going to be taking a look at the weekly XRP charts, and we're going to see what we can find out now that we've had some more information given to us due to this recent setting of a new all-time high, which is incredible. Now if we go back to the very beginning of XRP when it was very first traded back in August of 2013, coming from this all-time high here that was set around December of 2013, 1,211 days had passed until this all-time high here was broken. So that's quite a bit of time. 1,211 days is about 3 years and 4 months. Now what we notice is there was a liquidation candle gathering liquidity, then the price broke out. Well, once the price first broke out, you can see that it snuck past it just a little bit. It wicked past the all-time high, setting a new all-time high right in this area. Then the price fell back for the next 3 weeks and consolidated below that point. It then broke out over the next 4 weeks to come up here and set another new all-time high. Now this, from here, breaking the old all-time high to setting a new all-time high, took 49 days. Then the price of XRP, after setting the all-time high right here, consolidated for 231 days before breaking out again. After breaking out, it only took 4 weeks from this consolidation moving up before it set the new all-time high that we just broke this morning. So you can see the amount of time that this took after just breaking the old all-time high. 50 days here, consolidation, another 231 days here. So it took quite a bit of time in between here before setting a new all-time high. Now, a lot of people are worried about protecting their profits, and I completely understand that. There's a big difference between being a day trader or a swing trader who has to protect their profits on a daily or weekly basis, and comparing that strategy to someone who is a long-term investor who buys physical coins, stores them on exchanges or in cold storage wallets for long periods of time, and pretty much just ignores them and just waits for them to appreciate in value. If you really look at it, being a day trader and also being a long-term investor, I think that's your best approach in regards to crypto, is to buy and hold, just like Warren Buffett would do, because you're never risking at any point in time losing your coins as long as they're stored safely, yet you can make an absolute fortune as those appreciate over multiple years. But when you look at the charts, the long-term holders really don't have a lot to worry about. Now you can see this all-time high here took out the previous all-time high from the lower set, setting a second all-time high. Then, after that consolidation, it set an additional all-time high. Now we know that retracements are very common in the world of trading, and it happens a lot. Price will go up, it'll hit a max, then it'll come right back down to the point of where it broke out. Now, a lot of times the price will retest those breakout points and wipe all the liquidity and then move right back up to where it was before the drop. But if you look at this chart, you can see once we set the all-time high that we just barely took out this morning, it actually took 616 days before the price had dropped from that new all-time high all the way down to this breakout point. The lows of this consolidation period right here, which is right here at this point, it took 973 days for the price to drop from the new all-time high all the way down to here to where it swept this candle right here. You can see that it swept the candle low. If you go off the low of this candle, you can see that it swept this candle low. And the reason why that came down right here, if you remember, this was March of 2020. This was COVID. This was the lockdown. And subsequently, the best time to buy XRP from the pandemic, if you can call it that, anywhere through the price action trading up to today was right here. So when the price retested the lows of this consolidation over the previous all-time high, this area was the absolute best place to buy after setting a new all-time high. When you look at the breakout candles that we're dealing with right now, we just barely took out this all-time high, just barely crossed over this line. This pattern has been building from the old all-time high to today, has taken 2,569 days, which is 7 years plus. Now everybody's worried about this retracing right back down to here. And back before this breakout started, I was one of those people. With the liquidation candle of this pattern set being right here in July of 2024, before it had made this breakout right here, it seemed very logical to me that it was going to come up into this range here, fall back, and then sweep all the liquidity of this low right here, which it did not do, which means I was blatantly wrong, period. But this gives us some very good information to go on, because we now know that it consolidated here below the high. That's exactly what happened here. Consolidated below the old all-time high, broke through it, which we are right at that point now. We have not broken through it, but we are right at that point. We're still very early in this, and you can see that when you look back on these charts. But another thing that you need to take into account is once the price action broke above the old all-time high and formed the first full body candle above that line, price never again revisited this line marking the breaking of the old all-time high. Never again. We never again traded back to that area. So one thing that you're going to want to be looking for is once the price action pulls up above the old all-time high trend line, keep your eye out for that first full body weekly candle forming above that line, because that will most likely signal a very good chance that price action will never again trade below this line. And it's happened in the past, so we very well might see it happen again in the future. Just another thing to consider. It doesn't mean that we won't retrace, because we will retrace. It just means that when the retracement comes, if it follows the pattern that we had in 2017 after setting the new all-time high, that the consolidation will never again come below this line right here at that 330, 333 level. Now, if you think about that, looking at this chart, that means we've got a long ways to go in price action to protect that point. And another interesting thing is if you take this 49 days here, you add it to this 231 days here for this full cycle pattern from the breakout of the old all-time high to the setting of the new all-time high, you get this number here, represented by this box. And if the move we're currently in replicates what we saw back in 2017 during that period of time, we could expect to see a price trading somewhere in the range of $42.34 to $45.74. Now that's absolutely incredible. Now most likely, if that was the case, and we came up here and set a new all-time high at 45, let's say, you can expect to see something very similar to this. So once we do break out of here, another thing to keep your eye on is when we do consolidate the next time, because they're probably going to look very similar by the time this is played out. And it doesn't take near as much time for the bullish patterns to form as it does the bearish patterns, as you can see looking at the charts. The bullish stuff hits really quick, and the bearish stuff takes forever and just drags out and drives you crazy. So if the price pulls up here into the mid-tier and starts to consolidate, remember that low that gets set right there, because just like right here, the low set up here, could very well mark the retracement in the next bear market that we experience. So wherever that low is, setting off of that low, matching the low of that consolidation, that would be a good place to put your buy orders, is just under the pattern low in that consolidation above the trend line from the previous all-time high, because that also could repeat itself. And if that's the case, that could very well mark the best place to buy going into the median leg of the next bull cycle. So I hope you found this interesting. I hope you found this information helpful. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.